Welcome to this episode of The Kitchen Warrior. I am your Chef Melvin, and today I want to invite you to make this very classical dish of short ribs with brown sauce and some asparagus. It is a wonderful dish that you can make any time of the year, but I highly recommend it for Mother's Day. Our list of ingredients is the following. We have the short ribs right here. We have 4 cups of chicken stock. We have some wine. We have tomato paste, thyme, parsley, bay leaves. These are red bliss potatoes. We have asparagus, some oil, some onions, garlic, celery, and carrots. We have seasoned our ribs with a little salt and pepper, and we have placed them in this really hot pan with a little bit of oil. And we are going to sear these ribs in all 4 sides. This is going to peel off that meat, and it's going to give the sauce a little bit of color and add to its flavor through its caramelization. So while the ribs are searing, we're going to begin preparing our vegetables. We're going to cut the carrots into 2-inch pieces, and we're going to peel them. And what we want to do with it is that we want to sharpen the edges and turn them into little footballs. This little extra effort will add beauty and will enhance the presentation of your plate. So we'll do them just like that, and these we're going to blanch. The pieces that we're cutting right here, we're going to use to add it to flavor our ribs as the sauce begins to develop. In a few minutes, we're going to add it and we're going to see what it looks like. Alright, so what we're going to do here with the celery is we're going to chop the celery. And we're going to add it right here to this, just like that. We're going to take a half an onion and we'll do the same thing. We'll just cut them into just a 1/2-inch dice, just like that. Put all this together. This is called the Mirepoix, and this right here is where the sauce gets the flavor from. We'll take these garlics, smash them a little bit, just rough chop them a little bit. We're going to strain the sauce a little bit later. Put all these things together in a bowl. We're going to save the other half of this onion, because what we want to do with it, we're going to cut it and we're going to sear it in a skillet until it gets really nice and brown, and this will add to the color of our sauce. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 items right here, the carrots, the asparagus, and the potatoes, and we're going to blanch them. We're going to put them in hot water with salt. We're going to cool them down a little bit until the ribs are ready for assemble later on. Here we are continuing to sear our ribs. All 4 sides now have been fully seared. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to add all our vegetables right in there, just like that. And mix them up a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add about 3 ounces of our tomato paste right in the center. Half of that. Alright. We're going to add our red wine. This will be about a cup. And we'll add that just like that. And we'll be draining these ribs very nicely. We'll let that cook there for a minute. And then we're going to add our chicken stock. To that, we're going to add about 5 bay leaves. These are fresh bay leaves, very nicely. And we're going to add half of our fresh thyme. Very good. We're going to cover this and we're going to let it simmer for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. So here we are, we're blanching all the vegetables, the potatoes, the turned carrots, and we're going to blanch asparagus next, all in this salt water. And we're doing this right towards the end of the preparation of our ribs. We're going to keep the asparagus bundled up just like this so that we can pull it out in one shot. Asparagus is usually about that big, and what we want to do is we want to cut about 4 inches of it, and we're going to blanch it in this water approximately 1 minute. While that is going, we have this onion the other half of the onion that we talked about earlier, and we are caramelizing it. We really want that onion to be as brown as possible without being burned, because we're going to add that to our sauce here on the short ribs. We have been cooking for about 45 minutes. We have turned them a couple of times, and the onions are going to add a little bit of color to the ribs. They're almost there. Another 20 minutes and we'll be ready to serve. So we removed the caramelized onions and we set them aside. We're going to place this in the blender with some of the liquid from the sauce. Here we are making a roux. This is about an ounce and a half of olive oil and equal parts of flour in the same pan which we just made the onions. And we're going to turn this into a brown roux. You're going to smell the nuttiness from it. It's about halfway there, not quite. So in the meantime, we're going to take the ribs out from here. As you can see, the bone is starting to detach from the ribs. And that's what we want. We want to get the meat out because we're going to strain the vegetables, and all we want is just the sauce. So here we are straining the sauce. We don't really want this. These are the Mirepoix. And if you really want to at home, I guess you can blend it, but we want a high quality because this is for a very special dish, for a Mother's Day dish. And we set this aside. Our roux is at a perfect brown stage. A little full of this liquid and the onions, we have come up with this puree right here. This is going to add a little extra flavor and a little bit darker color to it. Alright, we're going to crank up the heat a little bit. And we're going to begin by adding our roux. So we're going to add the roux gradually, just like that. And now this we have to stir quickly because it'll begin to lump if it's not done fast enough. And the thickness of the sauce, you'll know when it's perfect when you grab a spoon and it coats the back of the spoon. That's when you'll know the sauce has come to perfection. To this, we're going to add the other half of the thyme that we added at the beginning of making the sauce. And the reason I do it in 2 stages is so that I can preserve a little bit more of the fresh essence of thyme. So now that we have completed the cooking process of the ribs, 1 hour and 25 minutes, we've also blanched and prepared our vegetables right here. We add a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter to each one of them to give it a little extra of that look when we are ready to present this dish. Here our short ribs are ready. What we're going to do to begin this plate is that we're going to take a little bit of sauce, about a spoonful, and we're going to drizzle it in the background, just like that. We're going to do that to each one of these plates. Just like that. As you can see, the sauce is just perfect. Very good. The next thing we want to do is that since we detached the bone from the ribs, we're going to use that to our advantage in our plate presentation, and we're going to take a few of these asparagus, something like maybe 3 on this one, and we're going to place them right inside that cavity where the bone was. And we're going to place it just like that in the very center. And we'll repeat that several times here till we get that done. This is just a little bit of common sense. So a bone came out. Now we're going to place our asparagus right in that very spot, just like that. And we'll do that one more time. Now if our ribs are a little too small, we can do 2 ribs per plate, no problem. So we'll do that example right here. Say for example we used a small rib, We're going to add 3 asparagus to one, 2 asparagus to the other, and we're going to cross them, just like that. Just like that. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a few of these potatoes, and we're going to place one here, one there, 2, maybe 3 potatoes, just like that. And we're going to place a couple of these carrots. One right there. Just drop them. Maybe even 3 carrots. Here it is. To this we're going to add a little bit of parsley on top. And we're going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil. And here is a beautiful plate presentation that you can serve any time of the year, and you'll be very proud on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you. Good luck. Thank you for watching.